This TBR is a hot mess. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Venus and today I want to talk about all the books that I hope to read in September. This TBR is all over the place because in September I immediately transitioned to a mood reader. So I tried to list books that I'm hopefully going to get to, but this could completely change at some point. It's fall in my heart, even though it's not officially calendar fall, but it's fall, as you can see. So I am really in the mood to read spooky books and thrillers, but I also still have some fantasy books that I need to keep reading. So I'm gonna start with the carryovers that I did not get to in the month of August. The first book is Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. I am about 247 pages into this, still loving it. It's the third book, so I can't go too much into it, but it's about Fitz, who is a royal bastard. It's an epic fantasy. He is a royal bastard and a royal assassin, and he went through a lot at the end of the second book. So and it picks up right where it left off, and I'm loving it so far. My brain just isn't really in a fantasy mood right now, so I'm kind of really slowly getting through this, but I am hoping to finish this in the month of September so that I can finally finish a Robin Hobb trilogy and move on to the Live Ship Traders trilogy that I've heard nothing but wonderful things about. So this is a carryover from August that I hope to finish in the month of September. Now let's talk about the books that I have in mind to read hopefully this month. The first one is on so many people's TBR list, and I am so excited to also read it. It comes out on September 6th, and that is Fairytale by Stephen King. This is the first time that I am going to read a Stephen King book when it comes out, so that's super exciting to kind of be in the community while everyone else is reading it as well. Once upon a time, there was a boy called Charlie. His mother died in a terrible accident when he was young, and his father turned to drink, but Charlie grew up to be a good, strong, clever young man. The sort who helped strangers in need, such as the misanthropic Mr. Bowditch, who has an equally elderly dog and a crumbling property, which, as this is a Stephen King novel, sits on a tunnel leading to a mysterious world in need of saving from a horrifying evil. Say no more. That sounds fantastic, and I cannot wait to read that when it comes out. The next two books are actually rereads, getting me in that spooky season mood, and the first one is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. This is actually available on Audible. If you have an Audible account, it's free. So I have already started listening to it, and I am loving it so much. The first time that I read this, I went into it thinking it was going to be like just this really scary book about demons and exorcism, and I felt a little disappointed because it was really centered around Abby and Gretchen's friendship and their Abby's loyalty to Gretchen, because Gretchen is the one that is possessed by a demon, and she goes through so much in this book. It's set in the 80s, and when I say set in the 80s, Grady Hendrix does a wonderful job of making you feel like you have transported to the 80s, especially from an 80s kid. I remembered all of the references in it. So this is so much fun, and again, really centers around friendship, and I'm loving the audiobook of it. So reread for this one. Also in the month of September, a fellow booktuber, Jack and the Book Stack, is hosting a readathon called the Fall Fang Gang Readathon, and it takes place between September 16th through the 22nd, and this is reading books that are centered around vampires. So she's got a bunch of prompts. It sounds so much fun, and one of the books that I've chosen for that is to reread the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, also by Grady Hendrix. I loved this book, and I'm just in the mood to reread it. It is about a vampire who is not your typical sexy, fun, spooky vampire. He is evil, and this takes place in the 90s and also has all the 90s vibes. Really great commentary about how women are treated in the 90s, especially by their husbands. There's also some racism that is touched on in this book. There is some gory parts in this book, and really about a group of friends that have this book club that have to try to save their town from this vampire, and I can't wait to reread this. I will link the announcement video for the readathon below. Please check out her channel. She has the coolest content. She comes up with the most creative ideas for her videos, so definitely check her out. Again, I will link her channel down below. I mentioned that I might not get to this in August, which I didn't, so I'm definitely going to read this. This is one of the first books that I do want to read this month, and that is Feeney. That is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. This is a thriller book, and I've heard nothing but good things about this book. So many good reviews. All I know is it takes place on an island, and there's like a storm there, and family are gathering at this island to wish a happy birthday to, I think she's like in her 80s, Nana's 80th birthday party. And apparently family members start dying. So this sounds like a fun thriller. I loved her book, Rock, Paper, Scissors, that I think I read last year, so I'm really looking forward to reading this as well. So I posted a video of 10 books to read in the fall. I will link that above. Definitely check that out if you're looking for some ideas to read this fall. But one of the comments that I got, because I asked for some recommendations to kind of give me books that I should also add to my list to read this fall, and one of them was White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson, and it was available on Libby. So I have also started listening to that audiobook, and so far it's pretty creepy. I'm really enjoying Tiffany D. Jackson's writing style, and it's a lot of fun so far. The main character, I think her name is Marjorie, I cannot remember. Starts with an M, but I can't remember her name. But her and her family, she's in a blended family, a blended biracial family. They are moving from California. And I don't know if it says the state that they've moved to. I want to say Chicago, but I'm not sure. But they're living in this neighborhood that is practically abandoned except for this one house that they're living in. And it's a lot of creepy stuff going on in the house. And I'm loving it. It's like got all the spooky vibes. The only thing so far that I haven't enjoyed is the main character. She's got like a weed addiction. And I mean, it's like a constant thing. She's like constantly talking about how much she's craving weed, and it kind of gets annoying, so I'm hoping that calms down a little bit. But so far I'm loving it. I've heard a lot of good reviews about this book, and the ending supposedly has some crazy twists, so definitely going to finish that because I'm already listening to it on audio. Tiffany D. Jackson also has a new book coming out on September 6th called The Weight of Blood that is supposed to be a Carrie retelling, Carrie by Stephen King retelling. And if I end up loving White Smoke, I might actually add that to my TBR too. I am loving her writing style right now very much, so might be reading The Weight of Blood as well, not sure yet, but just wanted to mention that too if you're interested in reading a Carrie retelling. I also have started to read The Swan Song by Robert McCammon. I saw a bunch of booktubers read this recently and just rave about it. And I've never read anything by this author. He's supposed to be like an epic horror author, so I'm really, really excited about this book. I don't know too much about it. All that I know is kind of post-apocalyptic. There's like a nuclear war and some kind of evil. And yeah, I don't know too much about it other than it's a really good book. But then when I started it, it's like 1,000 pages. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm in the mood for a book that's that long, but hopefully it'll keep my attention. I forgot another reread that I also want to do this month is the Ex Hex by Erin Sterling. This is available, the audiobook is available on Scribd, so I'm probably just going to kind of listen to that while I'm doing chores and refresh my memory, because the second book to this that is coming out September 20th, I believe. Sorry, I'm like trying to remember. Yeah, so September 20th, and it's called The Kissed Curse, or The Cursed Kiss. But I really, really love this book. I go into detail about it in my 10 books to read this fall, so again, check that video out. But I loved it. It's a romance. It's not scary at all, but it has all the fall vibes. The town setting for this book gets really, really into decorating for fall and a fall festival, and it really puts you in that fall mindset. So another great book that I recommended to read this fall, and I'm going to reread it through, or listen to it through Scribd. So if you are interested and you have Scribd, it is available on Scribd. A NetGalley arc that I do want to make sure that I get to this month is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. She is the author of Fable and Namesake, which I recently read. I want to say in July I read Namesake. I didn't like it as much as Fable, but I do really enjoy Adrienne Young's writing style. So I'm very excited to read this book. It sounds like it's kind of a fantasy, magical, got some romance in it. Read, so I'm excited about it. Let me read you a little blurb about what it's about. It just says, from New York Times bestselling author Adrienne Young comes a deeply atmospheric story about ancestral magic, an unsolved murder, and a second chance at true love. Sounds perfect. Perfect for right now. So that's a NetGalley arc, again, that I plan on trying to get into the month of September. And this last book that I am definitely going to read this month because Jordan from Jordan Reads has talked about it so much on her channel. I will link her channel down below. Love her channel, love her reviews. I've mentioned her before, but she has talked about this book so much that I had to get it from my library to see what all the fuss was about, but that is Gideon the Ninth by... by Tamsyn Muir? Oh God, I'm sorry. Muir? We're gonna go with that. All I know is that it's about lesbian necromancers. I don't know. It sounds fun, but she loved it. She's reread it pretty back to back, like not too far, it seems like, from the first time she read it. So I am really excited to read this. That's all I know. It says, Gideon the Ninth unveils a solar system of swordplay, cutthroat politics, and lesbian necromancers. Her characters leap off the page as skillfully animated as arcane revenants. The result is a heart-pounding epic science fantasy. So this is the last book that I hope to get to for the month of September. This TBR, like I said earlier, it's all over the place. It's chaotic. It's probably how the rest of the year is going to play out. I didn't even, if you've been here a while and you've watched my TBRs, I didn't even bother to do the spin the wheel of the 22 books that I want to read in 2022 because I looked at the ones that I have left and I really have no desire to read them right now. I really don't. I think Name of the Wind is on there. So Scythe by Neil Shusterman is on there. I think like a Kristen Hanna book. She's like a literary fiction author. I definitely am not in the mood for that yet. So there's like, I think there's like 8 books on there that I'm just not in the mood for. So I'm going to skip it this month. I don't know. Will I complete the 22 books of 2022 that I, on that list? I don't know. Probably not. I'm telling you, like the mood, it's all about mood right now. And none of those fit the mood. So I don't know. I'll get to them eventually. I'm not worried about it. But that's all I got for the month of September so far. I might add some, take some away. Who knows? Let me know down below. What are you reading? Are you reading any of these? Have you read any of them? What are your thoughts? I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for stopping by. I always appreciate the time that we spend together. And if you are new here, please hit that like and subscribe button. And I will see you guys again soon. See ya.